Hey everyone, welcome to another unbox. I got some tragic news. I lost a piece of my knife. I dropped it and I don't know where it went and it's gone. But the blade still works, so we're just gonna make do with what we got. I got a whole bunch of stuff from Sagers. It's a mix of Vietnam Marines and I believe some German Hitler Youth models. And not actual German Hitler Youth in the box, to be very clear. All right, so let's kick things off. Let's pick this guy up. So I'm planning to do some stop motion stuff with the Vietnam guys, and so I need to get them unboxed so that I can. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is the guy carrying the little girl to safety. Very, very nice piece. This is from the Tet Offensive of '68. Yeah, this piece is crucial to the plot of my next short / stop motion video. So you'll know it when you see it. It will be out there for you to consume. So let's set this guy out there. I've taken off my tablecloth here, so I'm back down to the basics on this table here. I don't think it goes this way. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of fun to fit these things back in. I don't know if you guys do this with your figures when you get them, but it's like the way that they laser cut these, or I don't know what they do and how they get them out of there, but it's pure sorcery to me. Okay, let's pluck another box from this VN035. So I kind of like rummaged through this box already because I had to see what mix of stuff we had. So let's see here. What is this one? Oh, it's big. Oh yeah, this is Gunny. I forgot his name. I looked this up actually. VN035. Apparently this guy was a badass. So this is Marine Gunnery Sergeant John Canley, who served multiple tours in South Vietnam between '65 and '70. So he's depicted here dragging another wounded Marine. So he was a Medal of Honor recipient, and the reason for that was that I'll keep this very short here, but I just want to summarize this. So this was the medal was awarded for his actions on February 6th of '68. So this was the Tet Offensive. So he apparently, while under attack, risked his life to drag several wounded Marines to safety, and then when his commanding officer was wounded, took command of the company and basically ordered and led some assaults on the enemy. So he pretty much became a one-man army. And because of that, he apparently later rose to badass, absolute badass. Cool. All right, let's move on to the next guy, or next couple of guys. So this is VN135. I wonder how old the Vietnam series is in King and Country. Really curious, because some sets, like some collections, like the DD collection, goes almost to 400. So we have a 60 gunner here, the classic crossed belts. I just recently watched this guy called Brandon Herrera, who has a YouTube channel, hugely popular. He's got like 4 million subscribers. And I watched the video where he was firing the M60. So this was affectionately dubbed the Pig. And a lot of the mechanics and the engineering was borrowed, and borrowed is a very, very generous word for it, but was stolen from the MG42, just straight up copied. Like a lot of the feed mechanism right here, the loading mechanism was copied right out of the MG42. And I mean, that is the case with a lot of weapons. If they work really well, if they're well known for something in particular, then they will be copied. So we've got a hand grenade here. But so the reason that I bring up how old some of these lines are is because they have a huge range of quality. Like the DD lines, for example, some of the earlier models look like cartoons, you know, some of the figures. And then the later models, when you get up into the 200s, and even actually when you get into like the 50s, the models start to get really, really refined. So here's this guy's prone. He's reloading his M16. See, the magazine is missing there. He's about to slam another one in. So they're providing suppressive fire. Maybe this guy's covering him. I love the Vietnam models. They're really cool. I wish, one thing that I wished was that, oh god, this guy's so cool. Like, when I see this model, I just, like, it makes me want to fire an M60. It's just like one of those classic, I hear Credence every time every time I see like a toy soldier with an M60, or if I see an M60 on TV or a YouTube channel, all I hear is Credence. All I hear is Fortunate Son, which is in my playlist because I love that song. It's an awesome song. Anyways, yeah, so this is a really, really cool two-man team. This is going to come in handy for my stuff. I don't have a whole lot of Marines yet. I have a good handful. Just a small sample of the ones that I have. We have this guy here with the Law. This one I opened up in an earlier unboxing. Then we have a Bino, an NCO with binos. This is VN130. And then we also have Animal Mother right here with another M60. Let's actually compare these and see how consistent they are with the sizes. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty spot on. In some news, some toy soldier news, Thomas Gunn is releasing some Romans that I saw. I signed up. If you guys remember, I mentioned it in my one of my videos that I had signed up for the newsletter, VN019, and so now I get notified whenever they have new releases. And one of the releases that is coming up, or actually it is coming up. They haven't released them yet. Looks like he was buried in the foam here, so the rifle is a little bent. Pretty minor, but oh wow, it is like ready to fall off. I'm gonna have to perform some surgery to save this thing. Luckily, I have, where's my trusty JB Weld? This stuff is absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm not a paid actor. I don't work for JB Weld, Super Weld. But I can tell you this thing was recommended to me by one of the people, by a gentleman that watched one of my unboxings. And I had mentioned how I use epoxy for everything. And he said, basically, epoxy gets old, it begins to disintegrate and also changes color. And he said, use the Super Weld, the JB Super Weld, and you won't ever look back. So it comes with its own light right here. Oh, look at that. That makes like a weird purple thing. Anyway, so it comes with a ultraviolet light right here. And so basically you apply, from this tip, you apply the glue, and then you hit it with some light, and it hardens almost instantly. It's actually pretty impressive. If you guys remember, I unboxed this tank a little while ago in one of my other unboxings, and the chain was completely shattered. It was in 4 pieces. So I actually managed to put this together. Let me get this guy out of here before he falls out. I managed to put it back together, and it looks almost seamless. There's obviously some chips missing in a couple spots, which is unfortunate. You know, I couldn't find those. I wasn't the one that broke it. And I'm not sure if this was shipping damage or if this is how I bought the figure, because I bought this for something like $100, maybe not even. So I'm thinking that the reason it was $100 is because of the damage. But it's the chain, it's the tracks, and it's kind of not very visible, right? Like the actual surface of the vehicle is in pretty good condition, so I'm not really worried about the tracks having a couple of cracks there, and you know, me being able to approximate them fairly well to make this look uninterrupted. I think I could even maybe add a little bit of color right there just to kind of match that up so that it doesn't stand out like that. But honestly, like, this is pretty sturdy. I'm also thinking about putting these guys in here as well, gluing these guys down. I don't always glue things, but when I do, I weld them. JB Super Weld. Anyways, hey JB Super Weld, if you're watching, I'd love to sponsor for you. Okay. Or wait, no, I'd love to be sponsored by you. Right. Yeah, that's how that works. Cool. So yeah, so this guy has some welding in his future. Long story short, the rifle looks pretty... I mean, it's hanging on by it's hanging on by a thread. It's literally like about to fall off. Makes me nervous. You gotta be very gentle with him. Our sniper, our VC sniper. So this is a VC sniper. I have an embarrassing confession. As a longtime watcher of Vietnam movies, I did a little bit of reading, a little bit of history, research on Vietnam. But for the life of me, I did not remember that the North Vietnamese had a regular army in addition to the VC. In my head, for some reason, some kind of a brain fart occurred to where I was not aware of the fact that, and I probably knew this, maybe I was conflating it with the South Vietnamese regular army, which fought alongside the Americans. They did not do that well. And so that's why America jumped in to kind of bail them out, and that also didn't work very well. But yeah, the NVA was the North Vietnamese army. And I'm not sure what they were called in Vietnamese, but we call them the NVA. And the Vietcong, the man in the black pajama, were guerrilla fighters. So that part I did know. I just wasn't, for some reason, my brain just didn't make that connection. Here's a guy, he's running for cover, advancing, doing something. So maybe he's getting some covering fire here from the M60. Speaking of M60, does that not have the most iconic machine gun sound? Like, do you guys remember the part in Full Metal Jacket? Let's get the next one ready here. Oh, this is a German, WS372. Do you guys remember the part in Full Metal Jacket when Joker is on the base? This is before he is transferred to the frontline unit. He says like, "Oh, I hope this is not for real, man. I'm not ready for this.
I ain't ready for this shit." Amen.
Then he fires the M60, and that sound is the most iconic. It's kind of like it's like a very bassy, like thuddy, kind of with like a lot of like reverb. And that's apparently not what the real M60 sounds like, or not. So apparently Francis Ford Coppola did a lot of sound design to make things sound a little bit more thuddy and more authentic in his own way. So he definitely had a taste for different types of gun sounds. Here's the M60's grandpappy. Let's see here. Can look at them side by side. So obviously the barrel is thicker here, right? The M60 also had an interchangeable barrel. There's a tab right here, actually, and it's actually on this model. You can see it. You flip this up, and then you can pull the barrel out and put a new one in if you've been laying on the sauce a little too hard. And the MG42 had a similar mechanism where you could change the barrel out because, I mean, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think the MG42 had a fire rate of something like some ridiculous number, like 1,200 rounds per minute. The M60 did not. The M60 had something like, what, 700, 800, 900 rounds? I don't know. I don't remember the number. But it's not as high as the M60, and I think the reason for that is because it's so easy to overheat this gun, which, you know, can be a liability in combat especially. So you did not want to overheat your gun at the wrong time. And this guy comes with a loader and his own little rifle. Just want to, you know, when do they make real-life AI upscalers? Stick this in and upscale it. So this, I think, is a Gewehr 43. This was sort of like the latest, it's like a late war infantry rifle to replace the Mauser, and the Hitler Youth would have been equipped with it. So these guys would be from the 12th SS, 12th SS Hitler Youth Infantry Division, the 12th SS Panzer Division, actually. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video. If you are one of those 80% of people that watch my videos but haven't subscribed yet, please consider hitting that sub button. It's really easy to do, and it really helps to support the channel. So thanks for your support, and enjoy the rest of the video. That suffered catastrophic losses, and if you were on the stream, and there weren't very many people on the stream the other night. But I did a Friday night kind of chilling type stream, and I just wanted to hop on and talk to some people that watch the channel, and it was great. James Viola stopped by and he said hi, and then we had some other regulars on there as well. Adam, a shout out to you, and Ronald McDonald, aka Andy, a shout out, the contest winner of DD 288, is it? I think, yeah, DD 288 or 188. I think it's 188. The unboxing, the live unboxing that I did about a month ago, and I shipped that over to him. Oof, this one feels hefty. But yeah, so some people stopped by, and I actually talked a little bit about the Hitler Youth and how devastating their losses were. The division had something like 12,000 men, and I really got to fact check this. I'm going to do this right now. Okay, so it was 20,000 men that the division had, and then the Normandy campaign, they lost nearly 9,000 men. So they lost half their manpower during the Normandy campaign. And so they were refit, they were pulled back and then refit and resupplied. But then between the Ardennes offensive, Hungary, and some other action leading into Germany, they lost another 7,000 men. Now, mind you, they were never really they never really regained full strength after the slaughter in Normandy. And I think they principally fought the Canadians and the British, and I think they fought the Americans as well, but later on in the Ardennes. But I think they fought the British extensively. They're one of the divisions that fought the British. Yeah, they were by May 45, which was when the German army capitulated. The entire division was effectively wiped out. It was not combat effective at that point. And because of the insanely heavy losses, the population damage that caused in post-war Germany is staggering. Apparently, and I asked ChatGPT to do some math. Wow, this is still heavy. Like, is there something else in here? Why is this so heavy? Is there another? Oh, there's another guy in here. How could I? This guy's like, hey man, I'm just trying to smoke my cigarette over here. Look at that. Smoking a little cigarette. Lucky Strikes. Lucky Strikes makes for fine tobacco. Awesome. So this is a BBA 108. These guys are kind of huddling together here for some warmth. And they got some stuff burning in this barrel here. They cut out some holes for more heat to come out and for more air to go in. Resting up here. This guy's having a cigarette. This guy's drinking from his canteen. Not canteen. His mess kit. But for some reason, my brain just drew a blank there for a second. But yeah, so because all these Hitler Youth guys were killed, which they were primarily comprised of teenagers as young as 15 years old, they never got to have offspring. So the population, basically, modern day Germany is missing effectively 10 million people just because of the propagation of generation to generation, because of all the teenagers and all the young men that Germany lost. All right, so we have, what is this? VN059. This guy's like, stand back. I know karate. That's not what he says. That's not what he says at all. What he says is, I believe I think the title of this set is called Stand Back, He's Dead. Oh, Stay Back, He's Already Dead. Yeah, so here we have... I feel really weird about models that depict dead soldiers. I don't know, it just, like, it feels weird to me that they make... I guess you have to, right? I mean, it's part of war, and it's part of... I guess maybe it would be more weird if they didn't, right? It's just strange to have a model that depicts a dead soldier. Kind of tragic, but that's war, right? What is in here? Oh, this is his rifle. Oh, another M16. So that would be on the ground here next to him, like this. This reminds me of that scene from Platoon when Johnny Depp gets shot up. Do you guys remember that part? Like, he's walking up, he's leading the patrol, And then yeah, he just gets shot to shit. And there's some people that are like, hand back. Actually, they go and get him. Does he survive? I think he survives. I think he does survive. Because I remember him like by the helicopter. He's like getting all patched up and stuff. So, all right. So yeah, a lot of Vietnam era guys here. I definitely am expanding. I just couldn't wait anymore. I just really needed to unbox them. I gotta get going with my stop motion stuff. This is a big set. I've never seen these in all black like this. These boxes. It's kind of nice. Very stylish. VN 191. So I got most of these. So this entire pack here was from Sager Soldiers. The reason that I picked them up is most of these are still in production, with a couple exceptions maybe. I get them because I get the free shipping. Because anything over, I know I sound like a broken record because I must have said this like a million times. But by the way, Mr. Bill Sager, if you are watching, I'd love to be sponsored by you. Maybe maybe we can work something out if you're watching. I've probably sent a lot of business your way, I think. So here we have a pajama man with an AK-47 and an RPG. Classic Russian equipment. So the Russians equipped the North Vietnamese, the Americans equipped the South Vietnamese, and on and on it goes. This proxy war that we wage with the world. Here we go. Here we have another VC with an AK. I wonder why. I wonder what the meaning is behind the black pajamas, behind these like black outfits. Is it camouflage? Does that? I mean, is that why? Is it a choice that they made to make themselves more easily distinguishable? I don't know. But yeah, so this is like a 4-man attack team here. And let's see here. Oh, this guy is NVA, or at least he's part NVA. Oh no, he's not NVA. He's just got like a different tunic here. Flashing the old AK-47 with the sandals. It's actually pretty crazy how like under-equipped the VC were, and how incredibly effective they were. I mean, they used tunnel networks and all of that. I'm sure you guys all know, you've heard and seen in several movies. That was one of their biggest strengths, is that you basically couldn't find them. I watched a really interesting documentary on Netflix about the Vietnam War. What the soldiers were reporting is, they would fight over a hill, and they would measure progress in bodies killed, because you couldn't really count territory gains, because as soon as you leave an area, the VC reoccupies the area. So the only way that basically the Pentagon could measure progress in the war was how many of them did we kill. And so that's how we had those search and destroy missions, and soldiers would take land, would kill the enemy, and we would count the dead, and that's how we knew how well we were doing. And even though numerically we were sort of winning, at some point after the Tet Offensive, the war was sort of going downhill because public opinion went against the war. The Americans ended up pulling out, and North Vietnam conquered the rest of the peninsula there, and that was it. The rest was history, as they say. So let's get these guys out of the way. I have another box here. This is another Vietnam set. This is also crucial for my little stop motion video. I think there's great potential for stop motion stuff with the Vietnam era King Country guys, because they're so dynamic. Like, look at, like, there's so many of these nice dynamic poses. There's so much you can do with these. They tell a story all on their own. You don't even have to do anything. That's what makes them so interesting, so unique. One of the things that's really nice is some of these guys are sort of, you can interchange them to express movement and pose changes. So like this guy here could, turn into this guy, as long as, we don't care about this guy having a mustache. You know, the equipment is the same, so you could, I mean, the pouches are a different color, but again, that's a minor detail, but you could interchange them. You know, one of the things that I see in stop motion movies and videos on YouTube is when they use plastic soldiers, you can kind of do that. You can do the pose changes quickly, and that makes for a more compelling story, I think, if you can demonstrate that. And so that's what I've been really after with a lot of these figures, is to try to be able to tell that story. A couple of dead VC, also important for the story. Do you guys remember that old movie from the 90s, The Indian in the Cupboard or something? The whole story is this boy gets this magical cupboard, and anything that he puts in there becomes alive. And he ends up putting like some toy soldiers in there. He ends up putting like an Indian in there, and he comes to life, and like there's this whole thing. Just always, every time I see like my King Country guys, like I would imagine like what would happen if I put them in the cupboard, right? I put a couple of these guys with some Marines in there. Would not be a fun time for anybody involved if they could actually become alive. Okay, and I have a couple more Vietnam guys here that I want to open up. So let's take a quick look here. This is VN088. So I had to take these out of the boxes because they were kind of scattered all over the place. Here we go. So these guys I think are NVA. So here we go. I don't know what this machine gun is called, but he's got a couple of drums right there. Looks like he's playing records over there. He's shooting vinyl records at the enemy. It's almost like those discs that spin really fast and just shoot out. Either like an old Russian weapon or like an old Chinese weapon or something. But yeah, this guy's a NVA soldier. Those hats that they're wearing there remind me of the movie We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. That scene, they fought the NVA in that engagement in the movie, and they had these uniforms on. I remember. This is really practical. Having the ammo pouches in the front here is very practical. So most of these sets are not retired, so that means that they sell for full MSRP price, and the only way that you can really get away with that is if you can get a break with the shipping. But they're fantastic figures. They're really all very, very good figures. All right, so, and then we also have VN086 that I want to open up. This is another NVA. And this is, what is this, like an SKS? This is an SKS rifle. I would think this is a semi-automatic weapon, just like you can buy an SKS even now. Lots of people make them. They're sort of like a derivative of the AK-47, I think. They have sort of like a similar mechanics. But yeah, this guy's just advancing and firing the SKS, and these are some kind of a crazy grenade. They're like it's a type of stick grenade, not a German one obviously, but some kind of a stick grenade. Yeah, so now I have some NVA to add to the mix here of stuff. We have the M1 record player here over here. This thing looks very fragile. I bet it wouldn't take a whole lot of pressure to break this thing down. Gotta be careful not to step on it. And I have one more I want to add into the mix here, and this is this is a German set, and these are partials. I've spoken about this a lot. I always say that if you have partials, if you can find partials on eBay, it is the best way to build out sets. Wow, look at this. It's like this was shipped by the Green Goblin. Does this guy work at like a textile manufacturing? It spells out, this is like an X, like, or a mask. Is it a mask? Did I get mail from the Green Arrow? What's this here? This is some very interesting scraps that they sent me here. Maybe I can make something out of this. Is this a mouth, a tiger stripe? Who knows? All right. And then just like a random piece of gray. I don't remember what this looks like, but this is a WS123 partial. WS123. I don't know if I have WS123. But he's got, looks like he is carrying something. So I want to be very careful not to pull on the wrong end of this and bend it. He's got a straw, carrying an MG42 and an ammo box in one hand. This is cool. Moving forward here. Wonder if I have any of the other pieces of this set. I'd have to reference my catalog. I catalog my pieces in a spreadsheet. That way, I started doing that like a few weeks ago, and I cataloged almost every single King/Country Soldier that I have. That way, I know if I have some sets, if I have partials that I can put together into sets, it lets me do that. So, by the way, there is, speaking of like Toy Soldier news, there is, King and Country did actually release, I meant to mention this earlier in the video, but King and Country did release more of the classic Germans that they had released some earlier in October, and they released six more sets, I believe. It was like four singles and two-man sets, and they're absolutely phenomenal. Most of the first sort of series that they released were kind of guys like hanging around the truck, reloading NCOs, kind of barking orders and stuff. There was a flamethrower guy. I mentioned that in one of my videos, my news video. And then these guys are like actually in an action pose, and they're, you know, firing from, you know, different positions, like prone position from the knees, and standing firing, and a couple of really cool two-man teams. This thing's a little bent. Why is this thing so shiny? This gun is super, super shiny. I wonder if there was an attempt made to repaint this or something. It's a little bent. Let's see if I can very gently ease this back and over a little bit. Okay, so this, I'm not really sure which figure I'm missing for this. So this guy would be holding on right there. I always thought this is like a really, I feel like this is a really dangerous job, right? Wouldn't this be a very dangerous job? This guy just like turns his face and it gets blown off. That's crazy. But yeah, here we go. This is, so he's kind of holding on to the bipod here in the front. Let me bring this in a little bit closer so we can get a closer look at some of the guys here. Yeah, so here we go. So this would stand on the shoulder like this, and this guy's holding on. He's like, oh my God, Hans, be careful. You're shooting my ear off. I hate that one. See, it won't quite go over the shoulder. I think that's why this was bent up. Maybe if we can kind of collectively bend this upper torso a little bit, maybe then it'll fit better. I don't know. I'll have to monkey with that, but I have to be very careful, obviously. Yeah, so we got standing MG42 gunner, and his entrenching tool is a little yikesy. Let's see. That's always a weak point with these guys, the entrenching tools. The Americans have the same problem. Wobbly shovels. But then again, most people don't use them the way I use them. And this guy is running. I wonder what piece I'm actually missing now. I'm going to look this up. Yeah, so this guy's actually not even part of this set. This guy is WS-123. And these guys are not WS-123. Yeah, so this is much later on, and this is missing a third figure. This is missing a second figure. This is missing a guy that, this is missing a guy that's carrying a rifle and another ammo box. So that's an MG team. These guys are an MG team, and they're missing their commander. So that's unfortunate. Okay, well, there we have that. And in keeping with our German theme, we have a German guard here. So I'm going to pop this guy open. This one's been just kind of hanging out. Didn't really know when to open him up. And this is, I think this is either LAH. Let's see here. MP Toys. There, Pope 52. It's kind of nice when they include their name like that, right? can remember the old flimsy packaging. Okay, so, oh, little note. How did I do? I think this is the guard that goes with like a guardhouse. Let's see, is there a model number on this? No. Yeah, so I already have one of these guys. Actually, no, I do not. So this is different. This guy's different. Okay. All right, cool. So the guardhouse works for both of these. I mean, this is much nicer. This says this is the Grossdeutschland division, which I think were part of some heinous war crimes. The Grossdeutschland division was definitely implicated with some war crimes, but not every unit apparently, just some units. But they were documented in with like civilian reprisals, POW executions, a lot of heinous shit. You know, with as a lot of the SS divisions were involved in that kind of stuff. Yeah, very unfortunate. So this is WS029. This is an older figure. You can tell the age, the advancement in the sculpt of this particular figure compared to this figure. This is just so much more accurate, so much more well proportioned. And this one is not bad by any means, but it seems kind of narrow. It seems a little bit malnourished. And I noticed that when they sculpt these, a lot of the pieces are already pre-sculpted so that they don't have to try to sculpt a lot of the details like rifles. They don't have to sculpt helmets and certain pieces of equipment so that they always look very consistent across all of the models. And that's why you'll see a lot of these like bags and canteens are all identical in appearance and size and scale, because they actually use, and I saw, if you're subscribed to the Thomas Gunn letter, for example, and when I saw the picture, I'm like, of course they do it that way. You wouldn't want to sculpt a Mauser every time you do a model, right? Like you would just use a pre-made model for that and attach it to the model. And then in some way, I guess it would give you guidance on how big the rest of the model should be, to have some measurements. And I guess you probably do some checking along the way as you're sculpting. Let's take a look at some of these guys up close here. The 4-man Vietnamese, the Vietcong team. This is really cool. So King Country has a new release with the classic Germans, which are fantastic. And I believe they're already working on the kind of like cooking up the next one. And these guys, I meant to open these guys during my live the other night, because we had somebody asking. History in Motion, I believe, was the gentleman's name. He was interested in starting a Battle of the Bulge collection. And so I gave him some tips on how to get some cheap terrain, how to create the snow effect, and I showed him a couple of my Battle of the Bulge figures that I had, and I unboxed a couple right on the live. And so that gave him some guidance on proceeding with the Battle of the Bulge series, because he was also thinking about potentially doing something collecting Vietnam figures as well. So I didn't get to show him those, unfortunately. I didn't get around to it. But they're both very interesting series, and I think they're both worth collecting, and they're both worth exploring for their own merits, for their own history. So I highly recommend any of the lines. Some of the most extensive lines are the Germans and the Americans, and the Vietnam line is growing as well. I think they're constantly putting content out. Not content. They're constantly putting out new models and adding to all the series. And the classic Germans was one of those lines that I was hoping they would expand, and they did. They did recently. So that's really awesome. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you enjoy Toy Soldier content. I do unboxings. I try to do unboxings about once a week. And then I also do live streams where I do giveaways from time to time. I've only done one so far, but my channel's only been around for about 2-3 months at this point, so I haven't been around for that long. I'm still trying to figure out this whole YouTube content thing. And so thanks for watching and supporting me. Those of you that watch the channel regularly, I really appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. It keeps me going. And I hope to continue doing this in the future. I hope to try to somehow make a bit of a living with this YouTube stuff. But that's always down the line. Appreciate you guys watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you saw some cool figures here, and I hope it gave you some ideas for how to do some dioramas or maybe start a new collection. And I'll see you on the next one, guys. See ya.